Before we start, please support our channel by subscribing, and click the bell icon for future notifications. Now, let's start. Today we're gonna tell you the storyline of the movie Ip Man 4, the finale. From the year 2019. This movie is about how Ip Man deals with discrimination in the US. It also shows us the end of this Wing Chun legend. The movie starts when Ip Man diagnosed with head and neck cancer. The doctor suggested that he do chemotherapy. But Ip Man just stayed silent. One morning, a dark-skinned man visits a Wing Chun academy. And how happy he was when he saw a picture of Ip Man, the Wing Chun master. But inside, he got kicked out because of the language barrier. He feels unwelcomed, and fights the Wing Chun students. But when he was about to kick the student, suddenly Ip Man appeared, and blocked his kick hard. Instead of being angry, he felt excited and hugged Ip Man. He then introduces himself as Billy, Bruce Lee's student. He came from the US. He then gave Ip Man an invitation to watch a karate fight, with a flight ticket, and a kung fu guidebook, written by Bruce Lee. Ip Man happy with the invitation, but he rejects it, saying he doesn't have much time. Ip Man then left. Billy then left the invitation to the student, and went away as well. At school, Ip Man's son, Yip Shing, beat up his friend. It makes the headmaster call Ip Man to the school and informs him that Yip Shing has to be expelled. The headmaster then suggests Ip Man to send his son to study abroad. He just kept silent. He gave up, and decided to send his son abroad. One night, Ip Man invited Fatso to his place, asks him to take care of Yip Shing, while he was in the US. But Yip Shing suddenly came out, and protested his father's wish. He went mad. He doesn't want to go to the US, he said that he doesn't even want to go to school. He just wants to learn kung fu, like his father. He felt fed up for always being blamed after his mom's death. Hearing that, Ip Man got angry and slapped Yip Shing. Fatso then broke the tense up and calmed Ip Man. The next day, Ip Man finally flew to the US. Arriving there, Ip Man was picked up by Khan and brought him to the Chinese Benevolent Association, an institution for the Chinese immigrants' permits in the US, to take care of Yip Shing's transfer paper. Arriving there, Ip Man was welcomed by some kung fu masters, but before he even said his purpose, Master 1, the chairman, asked Ip Man first to rebuke Bruce Lee, his student, because he has been teaching kung fu to foreigners, and wrote a kung fu guidebook in English. He even participated in a karate event. Master 1 is afraid that in the future, the foreigners could attack the Chinese back, with kung fu. They then got into a little fight through the glass tea table, until the table was broken into pieces. After that, Ip Man excuses himself away, and fails to get the transfer papers for Yip Shing. In the lodging, Ip Man called Yip Shing in Hong Kong, but Fatso picks the telephone up instead, because Yip Shing is still sulking at his father. On the other hand, Master 1 was training his daughter, Yona. While Yona actually was never interested in kung fu, but excited about cheerleading. The next morning, Khan took Ip Man to his friend, so that maybe he could get some help with the transfer papers. But he rejected them. So they went home disappointed. Then at night, Ip Man decided to attend Bruce Lee's event invitation. Bruce Lee also looks excited, seeing his master's presence in the stands. In this event, Bruce Lee shows his legendary one-inch punch. Bruce Lee then agreed to help Ip Man with Yip Shing's transfer paper, when he met him after the event. He also introduces one of his students, Hartman, who was serving in the US Marines. Then, there were some karateka challenging Bruce Lee out of nowhere. Bruce Lee then deals with them outside the restaurant, with Ip Man watching them from inside the restaurant. The fight then brought them to an alley, where Bruce Lee manages to defeat the karate master, which makes him acknowledge Bruce Lee's greatness. The next day, Ip Man visits the school with the transfer papers, where unfortunately Ip Man also needs the permit from the Chinese Benevolent Association, or, if he can donate $10,000 to the school, so that they can ignore the paperworks. On the other hand, it turns out that Yona, Master 1's daughter, was one of the students there, where apparently she was chosen as one of the school's cheerleader main team. But then, a girl named Becky seems jealous and denies the teacher's decision, saying that she was not worthy of the position. But the teacher still insisted. When Ip Man just got outside the school, He was surprised by a crowd afar. It turns out that it was Yona, who was bullied by Becky and her boyfriend's gang. There they hold her to the fence, and Becky cuts her hair, so that Yona can no longer be in the main cheerleader team. Yona then manages to break loose, and pushes Becky to the fence, where she scratches her own face. When Yona was about to be clamped by the fence door, Yip Man manages to push Yona away, but clamped his arm instead. Then, Yip Man beats the little thugs, with his Happy Meal Kung Fu moves. These thugs then ran away. Later on, Yip Man take Yona home by bus. There, they have some chat about Yip Man's problem. There Yona was willing to help Yip Man to get the permit. On the other hand, Becky complained to her mother about what she has been through. Then her mother called her husband to deal with the problem. And apparently, her husband is someone from US Immigration. Arriving home, Yona then persuades her dad to give Yip Man his permit. He was shocked seeing her daughter's face, but instead of being sad, he slapped his daughter. She was disappointed and cried, while Yip Man was on Yona's side. Then, Master One said that Yip Man wouldn't understand, because he doesn't live there. Yip Man then went away, but then Master One stopped him to challenge him to a fight. He doesn't like it when Yip Man uses his daughter to get his permit. Then they got into a fight, right in front of Yona. It was such a fearful battle, considering that they were both kung fu masters. But, the fight then had to be stopped, because an earthquake occurred. Yip Man then excuses himself home, and says that he was taking Yona home not for the permit, but to protect her. Back in the lodging, Yip Man called Yip Xing, but he wouldn't pick it up just as before. On the other hand, the cadets have karate training, while Hartman pulls his mukjong, or wooden dummy. Then his sergeant, Barton, asks him to throw it away, saying that the dummy belongs to the Chinese museum. But Hartman refuses, which results in Barton challenge to Hartman to fight against the karate master, Colin, so that he could approve kung fu to the curriculum, if Hartman manages to win. Yet he didn't make it, and the wooden dummy ended up burned. On the other hand, seen Yona giving Yip Man the permit paper. But he immediately tore it apart, because somehow he knows that the permits he was given were fake. Beside the permit paper, it turns out that Yona came to Yip Man to invite him to the Chinese festival. And he accepts it. In the headquarters, Hartman shows a Chinese kung fu demo to his commander, and excites him. Then he ordered Barton to learn it, and ordered Hartman to the Chinese festival, to do his research. Annoyed Barton then tells Colin about it, and Colin decided to come to the festival, to prove that karate is better than kung fu. Finally, the festival night has come. Yip Man attended the festival. There was also Hartman, recording the event. Then Yona approached Yip Man, and suggested that he sit up front. But he refuses, and tells her to prepare herself for her performance instead. On the other hand, while signing some paperworks, Master One was arrested by Walters, Becky's father, due to an illegal Chinese immigrant case. Master One was then escorted to their office. Meanwhile, Colin appeared in the festival, provoked the people, and challenged the kung fu masters. He managed to defeat the kung fu masters one by one, until when he was about to hit a female kung fu master, Yip Man kicks him off, which was continued with a fierce battle between them. Yip Man manages to defeat Colin, and was cheered by the Chinatown's people. In the middle of the celebration, Yona's uncle suddenly appeared, telling her about her father's arrest. They then rushed to the immigration office. While on the other side, Barton visits battered Colin, and gets annoyed even more. And he decided to go to the Chinese Benevolent Association right away. In the office, Walter accused Master One for faking permits for illegal Chinese immigrants. He then of course denied the accusation. But because of his personal problems, he still sends his men to the association, to arrest all the people there. Arriving at the office, Yip Man and Yona were stopped by Billy, where he warned them not to go to the association, because they were sending people there right then. When Yona's uncle called his friends about the warning, suddenly Barton arrived at the association, and beat them all. He was looking for Master One, and the people had no choice but to tell him Master One's whereabouts. Barton then immediately went to the immigration office. After knowing about the attack, and arriving at the association, Yip Man unfortunately couldn't find Barton. Khan then tells them to empty the place, due to the immigration's arrival. Arriving at the immigration office, Barton asks Walters for permission to take Master 1 to the Marines' headquarters to fight him there. Arriving at the headquarters, he then wakes every cadet up to watch his fight against Master 1. And a fierce battle occurs. Unfortunately, Master 1 was heavily injured and defeated by Sergeant Barton. On the other hand, Yip Man takes the association people to Bruce Lee's gym to be treated, where the association people then apologize to Bruce Lee for their past judgments towards him. While treating them, Bruce Lee suddenly received a call from Hartman, telling him about Master 1's condition after his fight against Barton. Yip Man then rushes to the hospital. There, Yip Man called Yip Shing as usual, but as usual too, Fatso is the one who answers the phone. Yip Man then told Fatso about his cancer. Hearing that, Fatso then forces Yip Shing to pick the phone up. Yip Man then apologized for slapping him back then, and promises Yip Shing to teach him Kung Fu as soon as he arrives home. Yip Shing cried. He asks his dad to come back home. But Yip Man calmed his son down and told him that he's gonna be home after he finishes his businesses in the US. Yip Man then asked Hartman to take him to Barton, but Yona forbade him to go. But Yip Man then convinces her, telling her that fighting against injustice is the goal of martial arts. And Yip Man went away. The next morning, Hartman takes Yip Man to the Marines' headquarters to meet Barton. Barton seems excited to avenge Colin's defeat. Yip Man looks overwhelmed due to the cancer in his head. Barton beats Yip Man up and falls him down. But Yip Man manages to get up and fight Barton back. Yip Man finally managed to defeat Barton with his last hit on Barton's neck. The cadets then applauded Yip Man's victory. After the fight, at the Chinese Benevolent Association, Master 1 gave Yip Man his permit. Yip Man gladly accepts it and says his goodbye. Arriving home, Yip Shing asks his dad to teach him Wing Chun. Yip Man agreed, but told him that he will only show it once. So he asked Yip Shing to record it. The movie ended with Bruce Lee coming to his master's funeral to pay his last respects. The Wing Chun Supreme Master, Yip Man. And the movie ended. What do you think of this movie? Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts on the comments section below. If you have any movie you want us to recap, please do tell us in the comment as well. And until next time.